Dr. Monica Musenero, the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovations, Office of the President, has today opened the Annual Researchers Workshop 2025 at the Banana Industry Research and Development Center and also the Presidential Initiative for Banana Industrial Development at Nyaruzinga, BUSHENYI District, aimed at unlocking the potential of banana, research for industrial development, and value addition. The workshop was attended by scientists from different universities and tertiary institutions across the country. In her message, she paid tribute to the president, who she said thinks ahead and is visionary always and committed to taking science forward.
Welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry for coming late. Welcome.
Thank you.
You missed a lot of science. I know. But we're happy you are here. I came from very far, but I wanted to be here. You know the scientists are still waiting. Sign at least our hope before we go down. We are happy that Mr. Isuka has been around. You sit here. Please. We are recognizing one of your lead scientists who was very focal in the pharmaceutical application research. We did that properly with him. So as the lab is forming, we recognize him. Professor Amon. We should prepare some tea. So we want to make use some of the board of scientists that have been here at the party. Professor from Chambo. About culture and bananas. Yeah. Mr. Clever is our manager here. He's my special advisor in medicine that just fell in love with what we're doing. And we are not so straight away that we're going to include pharmaceutical, much as I worked largely with starch. But he came, spent an afternoon with me and said, this starch has got the new generation medicinal applications. I want to be part of this. And this guy used to drive his ramshackle cars from Kampala to here every time there was this kind of meeting. And when he moved from Makerere through a project that she won in Barara to start teaching at MAST, he said, I want all of you to be affiliated to MAST. It will be easier for us to work when we are not driving to Makerere all the time, but having a bigger group of the students from here. So he got myself, Dr. Kawumolo, and Dr. Bati affiliated. And his last assignment, we say, was giving us those letters of appointment to MAST. That's why we value that relationship very, very strongly. And we thought that the far that we've got, you've already been here, you saw the incredible livery that we have here. I don't know, do we have Mr. Mbogo here?
Yes.
Okay. Cuts of this mutual student we shared, others are going to come on board. We think that we owe him this leverage to say this lab is going to be Professor Owino. So I don't know.
Thank you very much. I'm greatly honored to be affiliated with this, to be able to recognize legacy of science, because I can imagine 100 years from now what things will look like. And it is all standing on the foundations of men and women who believed when there was nothing much to hold their faith, but they have believed, they worked on their belief, and they have made it. So I'm greatly honored to be able to launch this lab at Dr. Wine Laboratory for starch and pharmaceutical research, named in the memory of Dr. Wine Erisa. Rest in peace. Research professional of the banana starch pharmaceutical application, research at PBD, and senior lecturer at Banana University, Department of Pharmacology, senior lecturer, Faculty of Medicine, Department of Pharmacy, Museveni University, production pharmacist, Abacus, Parental Drugs Limited. He ensured accreditation of the relationship between MAST and BBD Badik just before his death. At hall, there was a meeting, and everybody was bringing ideas about COVID research. And all the scientists were coming up with herbal products, and there was that meeting. I just came in and I was just scoping to understand. And you talked about starch, and it's one of those things which piqued my mind. And when the president confirmed giving us that money to resign, I was like, we need to work on this starch thing, because I went and did some research. I read some papers. I work very scientifically. I'm very scientifically. These days I don't spend much time on the bench, but I keep my knowledge. So I read some work and I was like, this is something and I started to see PBD beyond banana flour. And I've kept saying this, that with the right support, PBD can do, or banana can do for Uganda what wheat did for you. It is not just to transform our diet, it's actually to transform our very way of living. Because as you are going through the repertoire of professionals, I think that's the representation of what I envision us doing with science. You just imagine just banana, and we have the engineers, we have the social scientists, we have, and everybody is doing research and developing new lines of products. And soon I hope we will have a product from the roots of the banana. I have always thought there is something there unique. Why does that weevil like to go there? And the nematodes. And the nematodes, why do they like to go there? There must be something. So I keep, I can imagine for the next layer of young scientists, how many we can engage. How many we can engage, because each product which comes, each line you think about is going to go into thousands of different directions. And that leaves our country to stop depending on very superficial commodity-based products, and we move now into the knowledge-based products. And these are, and the way you approach it with the depth of science. One other little story I remember is we were meeting the president. You remember, with the politicians from the greater Bushenyi who were frustrated that the project is not giving them.
They wanted to take over.
Yes, yes. Scientists, I am really excited to be here today at this annual research symposium of the Banana Industrial Research and Development Center, BADIC. Professor Muranga, thank you very much for inviting me. Let me start by paying tribute to His Excellency, the President. I really believe that we as Ugandans, we are greatly privileged to have such a leader. That he's very visionary, he thinks deep. We are really privileged, and I'm not saying that as politics or whatever. I'm actually saying that as a scientist and a thought leader. Because he thinks ahead into things, sees things. I believe he was seeing even beyond what Professor Muranga was seeing. For him, he was seeing beyond. Then she will find out the details, but me, I see this can take us very far. So I really wish to pay tribute to him and the commitment he has shown us to take on science, and of course to appreciate him for giving me the best 4 years of my life, just working to lead science. They have been the excellent years. I'm doing the job that I think God designed me for, and so I'm very privileged at this point. Of course, as we are all aware, BADIC started out as a presidential initiative for banana industrial development about 20 years ago. And the president he believes in an idea, but he also believes in a person. Because he believes that a person with the right vision can drive the release of wealth and potential, can build a whole industry. And so his belief, he believed in banana, but he more so believed in the ability of Professor Muranga to lead this. And today we stand as a testimony. Banana was something, matoke jaji agafumba, they work in the muumbo, and we are happy, and we continue. But where we have come now, this is a giant unleashed. So I really want to appreciate that. I also want to give special recognition to Professor Muranga and her team of scientists whose unwavering dedication has brought us to this moment. starting out from PhD research, many people do after they write that book. Well, when there are new projects to write, they'll be happy to quote that they finished their book, maybe they published the papers. But for you to commit yourself to pushing that knowledge and unleash something that the nation did not see, and despite the lack of understanding in the ecosystem, because I really don't know how you survived in those years. I don't know how you survived. At least I know how you survived, but those years, I really don't know how you survived. So thank you so much. As I look around this room, it's just a small representation of the impact that you've had and the roots that go beyond. As people keep picking up strings of research and transforming them into not only packets of knowledge, but potential industries. This is, thank you very much for dedicating your life to this. It hasn't even been easy. It wasn't always profitable for you. Many times it was negative, but you have stayed the course. Thank you so much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Uganda, our nation, this beautiful nation, has made a strategic choice, a very intentional and deliberate choice to shift our economy from the basic production to a scientific and deeply knowledge-based economy. Thus, where we were dealing maybe with 20, 30 crops, if we can pick one and expand that, dig deep, then we will be able to grow the economy through what the president calls the quantitatively. And here on our screen is my favorite slide now because it summarizes my work. My job is to link scientific knowledge to the economy. That's it. So, and I put this slide because when we begin to see, for example, the repertoire of skills, of knowledge, of professionals that we need to make this happen, then we begin to understand. But not only that, let me just walk you through this. They have been growing. They started by being 3, then they became 4, then they settled around being 5, and now they are 6, because I needed to hit the economy. His Excellency is talking about the economy. Scientists are talking about science in the lab. How do we work it? How do we make it, these two connect? So science mostly is this systematic knowledge, and this is basically what you've been working with, that we are collecting knowledge systematically. And as we have realized just by being in this conference yesterday, it's more than just understanding molecular biology. It's more than just understanding agronomy. It's more than just understanding the traditional streams of science that we know. It is something that requires us to open our minds and make science practical and broader. For example, I realized that I didn't know a lot of economics. I'm very good in the areas that I am in the science. Tell me about the molecular biology, I can, you know, a new technique comes around and just a little bit of reading, I can connect everything. But I found where the economics is, unless we understand it as a science in that first panel, we cannot marry it into the other scientific knowledge to deliver the economy. If we do not understand that, then we do science, but we don't build the economy. We do science which produces nice technology. Of course, that's the next panel. We must be able to design the appropriate technologies. And by technologies, I'm referring to both soft and hard technologies. We were able to translate that knowledge, that understanding of germplasm, that understanding of, and say, okay, now that we have understood these microsatellites and whatever, how do we develop something out of it which is going to give us intellectual property, which is going to solve the problems of farmers, which is going to improve taste, so then we shift into the technology. And we have found that you actually need a multitude of knowledge bases for you to be able to just bring that out. And then innovation, this is a very interesting, because I always thought that R&D is innovation. And then I discovered that really R&D builds technology. You must figure out how that technology is going to fit into the current livelihoods. And Professor, allow me to use this, because you have ever mentioned it. Your initial excitement was, I can get matoke and create a flour. There was no such technology, because for us, we grew up being told that matoke is 80% water, and hence it is a low quality food. We just loved it. I grew up eating matoke, so up to now, every day I must have some on my plate. But when she produced the flour, the thinking was, if we can pack this flour, the extended shelf life, then people can reconstitute and make the moon. And of course, we are shocked that it doesn't happen that way. And people didn't like it, what comes out. So now what do? Do you throw away the research? No, you figure out, how do I use this in the best way possible? How do I repackage? I heard the professor talk about this actually at a meeting, that, Ugandans, at first they were excited, and in the initial ones, that's what they were presenting. Oh, people in London will be able to buy a token in a box, and then they will constitute Mwombo. Then it didn't come out. So how do you then begin to translate where you are into something which is quite profitable? So innovation helps us to use the technology, to find the technology, and also using the knowledge, so that we are able to address challenges. We are able to do them better, or we are able to come up with new solutions, completely new solutions. Now, at innovation, you also need different repertoire of infrastructure, of human capital, and these people must know how to work together, each recognizing the other's strengths and not being threatened. We must create that seamless flow, that at this point you realize, and this is the mosaic I've seen here. I've seen agronomists, I've seen economists, I have seen social scientists, and we are blending together. And by the way, you do good science, we will end up with a shortage of human resources, because it creates just innumerable opportunities. It's just because we have not been able to walk it across this highway. But if you're able to walk it across this highway, currently at STI, my greatest need is people who can sell things. I have excellent scientists. I have, but people who can sell things have produced the most beautiful bus on the continent, maybe even in the world, technically sound, but who can sell it? Such that they fly off. Now those people, as a scientist, I didn't know where they are trained. And when I go to the people that are coming out of the universities, they also don't know how to sell these new things. They can sell what has always been there, but they don't know how to sell these new things. So how do we now get them and blend this new knowledge into them? Prof, you understand the next panel. Iterating around being able to scale up, being able to manufacture continuously, consistently, being able to create systems which didn't exist. I don't know if we've got the Matoke pillar now.
Almost.
It wasn't there. And so people become impatient. And they're like, no, because you will not industrialize and go large scale unless you can automate things, unless you can manufacture. But then, who is going to design those unique things? A toke is not like other things that have been engineered, that it is straight so you can peel it. It has its, what do you call them? Let me go.
Yes.
And every banana comes out with its own signature of shape. Every finger. Maybe when we reach somewhere, we could genetically engineer all of them to be straight. But as for now, they come as many, those on each chihuahua, they come out shaped differently. The world is not been designing and making such things. So we need engineers who can not only run machines, but can sit down and figure out how do you make a banana peeler, which will enable us to automate. So one time I said, for me, if I had my way to design the banana value chain, very easy to speak from here, very difficult to do. Because as I was coming, I saw trucks ferrying Matoke, either to Mbarara town or to Kampala. Now you know what happened with the rubbish pit there, the rubbish heap there in Kitesi. A significant quantity of what is there is banana residues. Because what percentage of the banana do we currently extract? The bunch. Because we carry it, the middle thing ends up as waste. We peel, and the peel ends up as waste. We cook it in banana wrappings in the banana leaves. After that, they end up as waste. And so you find it is heaping there. So if I had my way, bananas would be peeled at source. One, it avoids the mining of the soil by taking away all the nutrients to places where they are not needed. But how do we build that? How do we design that? Such that banana markets are selling now brands. I was at Mount Elgon Hotel the other day, and I was telling them, the challenge with your katogo is every morning when I eat the katogo, it's different. Every morning when they bring the katogo, one, the matoke is hard, one, the matoke has broken up into soup, So how do you, that is part of industrialization. We should be able by now to know the best 1, 2, 3 varieties and how they are grown and industrialize that. This is for breakfast. Because you go into every big hotel in Uganda, they serve katogo for breakfast, but it's all shameful. Listen, many times they are serving and it has all fallen apart.
Lydia Akiding, Kiria Onkuni, here in Bushenyi district.